Hey guys, so another video on Bakkie Praat, and this time I'm quite excited because we've got some serious truck here that we're going to be talking about. It's a TRX Ram that we built, and it's based on the concept Ram TRX on the older series that Ram built, and yeah, we tried to build our own version because they never came out with this one yet until the 2021 model was released a couple of months ago, and basically we built our own. Let's tell you about the specs and what we've done. So we started off with the suspension, which we battled to find because we had to find some photos of the TRX concept, and we managed to trace the company Dirtking suspensions that uses King shocks and this full suspension that they built for the DS series Ram. So that worked really well because it's got the King shocks, like I said, fully adjustable, and really transforms the truck in my opinion. It's very expensive, but it worked. Second option was obviously the fender flares. The fenders that we used was from Fiberwerx, much wider than the standard fender, and that was to achieve the movement on this suspension that we've got. It's got a 12-inch travel on it, so it's got to soak it up, and the wheel is basically going to go into the flare, and it's much wider than standard. You also have two options from Fiberwerx. They've got the more aggressive one like this, and the less aggressive one that we had on the black, now black TRX that we built. This one is the more aggressive version, and you can see how wide this is compared to the rest. If you have a look at the shot from the side, big difference. Just something to mention while we're there, we also fitted amp research electric steps. Good option for any lifted truck. So as you can see also on the back, the flare is much wider. Also the fiberglass flare from Fiberwerx fitted very well to the truck. Their stuff is, I think, very close to OEM fitment, although there was a bit of work to do, you know, once you get to doing the paint work and whatever. But as you can see, it really rounds off the truck nicely. So obviously exhaust system, massive, because this has got the Hellcat motor. 707 horsepower, 527 kilowatts, 800 newton meters of torque. It's a lot of power. A tonneau cover, which was fitted locally. This is electric with the chrome bars, which is quite popular in South Africa. We've hardly sold any Ram trucks without these bars. This is an addition that we don't normally fit, but it was custom made. But the chrome bars, not chrome, it's stainless steel, but they're quite popular in South Africa. Method race wheels. We had to do this. It's got to be serious off-road wheels on this truck. It's an off-road truck. So the King shocks, as we've mentioned, triple bypass on the back, and it's got the bypass shocks in the front as well, fully adjustable. So the bypass shock means you can totally adjust the rebound and the compression of the shock by adjusting the valves on the shock. Makes it softer or harder. And then custom-made badging by the customer. Had it printed and fitted. Looks seriously nice. So there we go. We got to tell you more about the engine. This is the Hellcat motor, like I said. Let's show you the motor. So fitting this motor in the truck was also quite an achievement. Not for physical fitment, because the truck comes with a Hemi motor, so it's a Hemi block. Basically bolts straight in there, but the problem lies in the electrics. You can imagine that this is now a completely new engine controller. Same family, because it's all from Chrysler, and we wanted to integrate as much as possible. We wanted all the engine lights and all the telltales to work properly, RPM and all those things. So we managed to get that all integrated. The only thing that we couldn't get to work was the speedo cruise. But other than that, completely standard truck. So I think the engine controller controls everything on the motor, and we fitted the normal Ram transmission on this one. On one of the other trucks we fitted a Hellcat 8 HP 90 gearbox. This one's still got the 70 from the Ram. But rule of thumb is that it'll break traction before it breaks the transmission. So just to show off again the remote start function on the trucks. Press it twice and it should start. Okay guys, let's go for a drive. I couldn't wait for this day. So, like I said, the Performance BAJA app that we also installed on the Uconnect system is an awesome feature to have for the SRT powered trucks, especially the supercharged truck, because we've got the intake air temperature, which is running quite high on this truck at the moment. It's one of our goals to try and get that lower. Close the window, then you can get better sound. Should be better. Bring it down. So, like I said, Performance BAJA app also loaded on the truck. It's got quite a few features, like all the gauges that we need to monitor all the temperatures on the truck. As you can see, the intake air temperature is running quite high at the moment. If we can lower that, we can get quite a bit more power out of the truck, because at the moment it's pulling some timing on the engine when it's that high. So the other features that it also has is obviously the G-force measurement. So you can see when you stop and slow down, and then it's got the gauges, the second gauges, which is the one that we already work on, and then the engine performance. So it can also give you the power output, etc., which gear you dodging potholes, huge potholes.
And another thing you might not see in your town, but in South Africa, speed ups.
A lot of speed ups. This place is literally littered with speed ups.
Yeah.
So the faster you go in this truck, the less you feel on the speed bump. But the speed bump gets eliminated if you go fast enough because of the suspension. Absolutely love the suspension. I can't get enough of it, and I always talk about it a lot because it's so adjustable and customizable, and definitely one of the best features of this truck.
And I film.
And yeah, let's take this thing for a proper drive. So the supercharger whines a little bit more than your mother-in-law, but it's the kind of whine that you don't mind listening to all the way on the road. It's the smiles per mile kind of whine. So the more whine you hear, the more power it makes. As you can imagine, 527 kilowatts and 808 Newton meters of torque is a lot. Needless to say that this thing accelerates, very fast. We haven't ever tested it, but I would guess 5 seconds, 0 to 100 or something like that, probably faster. And the Trackhawk Jeep, it's way less than that. But I think traction will be a problem once again. Listen to that whine. Oh, music. The truck in general, again, because it's so big and intimidating, is surprising to everybody, especially this one, because it's nippy. It really is nippy. You put your foot down, it's there, and it's quick. Gearbox is super smooth, 8-speed box, love them. All the Hemis come with them, and definitely the supercharger, lots of torque. So this transformed this truck, but the suspension is what makes this. It really soaks up all the bumps. Not all of them, but most of them. But yeah, the suspension is what makes it. I think in general, when we started with this idea of building these trucks, it was a question of whether we could make the Hellcat engine work in the truck. And once we got the first one in and we managed to start the car, we knew that we had a winner, because the SRT8 or SRT10 trucks that was built years ago was very popular, and people love performance cars, so there's always a niche market for those few guys that will like something better and faster, and this was the answer. So you can imagine SRT10's only made 505 horsepower, this makes 527 kilowatt, so it's 707 horsepower, way more, significantly more, and it shows. Fuel economy is one of the things we don't really want to mention in this truck. If you drive really nicely, it would probably be 6 k's to a litre, or 18 or 17 litres per 100 k's, but realistically probably closer to 20 litres per 100 k's, and if you're a little bit enthusiastic, 25. So 4 k's to the litre, but it's fun. It's just so much fun that if you want to own a racehorse, you shouldn't complain about the feed. So it wouldn't matter. It's a supercharger that makes the difference, and it's the torque, the fun. And that's not full throttle. It's crazy how it accelerates. I'm always too scared to floor these things because I'm worried I might break something. It's you know, like we said, it's not the upgraded gearbox from the Hellcat cars. It's still the standard gearbox. So if the customer wishes, he's welcome to use it to its full extent. But we would rather not floor it. So I think it makes a lot of power, and you can easily break something in the gearbox. At this speed, it won't break traction. Comfort-wise, it's like all the other Rams. I think if your suspension is set up properly, this will be even better. It'll soak up even speed bumps in town. You can just drive over them as if they don't exist.
And you can set the suspension up.
Yes, it's fully adjustable suspension. I mean, you could literally take the King shocks apart and start fiddling with the valving on them. There's some little valves in there, and the sequence of them or thinner valves will make a difference. So there's definitely quite a lot of setup that can be done on the suspension. Besides it being fully adjustable outside the shock, literally by just unlocking the locking screw and unscrewing the valve, by making it, you know, I think just basically, I've got to think about this. So if you unscrew the valve, it'll open up the shocks valve, and then the oil will pass through way easier. So it'll make it softer. So if you do that on the rebound or the compression side, obviously it'll adjust the shocks, you know, how stiff it is or how hard it hits, and you can make it rebound quicker or slower. So if you want to slow the rebound down, you'll close the valve. If you want to make it faster, you'll open it. And it really is amazing suspension once it works.
Not 200?
Not 200, I reckon 5 seconds. Probably quicker if you put it in 4-wheel drive and just floor it. I'm not sure if it would break something, but you could probably get it quicker. The TRX truck now, it's a lot quicker than that, and because it's got the launch control function, and also in the Trackhawk Jeeps, it's a lot quicker. So you should be able to do it quicker if you could get different wheels on it, more traction. I've seen a guy in Canada that built a truck and he broke the side shafts on his diffs. So like I say, you know, we don't want to abuse the car. I think if you really go that far on a track with track bite and all kinds of stuff, it would go really fast, but it's not worth the risk to break something. It's just a fun truck to drive. So for what it's built for, I think sand dunes and the likes, this would be absolutely awesome. It's That's really the fun factor. There's no dune bigger or big enough for this truck. It'll get to the top. There's no ways that it doesn't have enough power. If you've got enough traction, you'll make it. The gearbox is quick, and it'll even change gears up the way. We've got a couple of videos of the Miop trip, like we've mentioned in some of the other videos. Just amazing what these Hemis does with 8-speed boxes. So with this Hellcat truck, it'll be even better.
New TRX on its way.
Yeah, so I think some great news that we do have is that we've got one of the new TRXs on the way now, and that'll be one of the builds in the next month or two. Should be arriving, and that'll be very interesting. Getting a truck built by the factory with all its features, launch control, etc. I'm very excited. I can't wait. I've been dreaming about it actually. I dreamt one morning, woke up, and I was like really disappointed that the truck is not here. But yeah, that's going to be exciting. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel, and do subscribe, because then you'll get notified when the new videos are out, and keep an eye on it. Really interesting stuff that we're going to be filming in the near future.
No 200.
You're going to have to try it.
No 200.